And we're back. We're back. Thank you for watching and listening to Good Morning from the Office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. And it is July 7th, this Tuesday morning. And again, your host here at BKP. Every Tuesday morning at 8:15, we talk financial facts with John White from Financial Guideposts up in Blue Ridge, and that is something we're doing every Tuesday. Let me just set this up before we bring Mr. White on this morning. But it's live every Tuesday morning at 8:15. You can listen, but as soon as we're done, we clip this segment and we put it in our business section. So if you hear something today and you want to share it with your friends, and you say, man, I wish you would have been listening this morning when they were talking financial facts with John White from Financial Guideposts, you can always find these segments. These are new, and you can find these segments in our business section. So we're going to talk. Mr. John White, are you with me this morning?
Yes, I am, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning, John. Mr. White, we were talking about, and I'm confused on this exactly, and you're going to clear this up for our viewers and listeners, and we're going to discuss beneficiary designations. And what are exactly beneficiary designations? Explain that to us.
Well, beneficiary designations, Brian, are, legal designations you make when you set up your life insurance contract or your 401k plans, your IRAs. You must name a beneficiary. And with that, you designate the person who is to receive your proceeds in the event of your death. And of course, that is usually done, not usually, it's always done, especially when you enroll in your employer's 401k. If you buy life insurance to protect your loved ones, you've got to designate a beneficiary. And they are legal binding agreements that, in all cases that I've ever seen, supersede anything you say in your will or any other legal agreements. But I must footnote by saying I'm not giving legal advice, but I have seen this process over my 40-plus year career.
Well, let me ask you a question. Okay, I'm glad we're talking about, I'm glad we're talking about beneficiary designations because, it seems to be that, and these are my words, it seems to be that little pesky question at the end of the form, and it's actually treated, and these are my words, nonchalantly when you're doing something. No disrespect for your insurance agent or somebody filling out your 401k plan, but it's kind of like, okay, who do you want as a beneficiary? And my wife, my mom, my son, whatever. And there's not a lot of thought put into that. And you're telling me this morning that designation could possibly, I know you're not giving legal advice, supersede any legal agreements you may have, including your wills?
That is correct. I have seen in my career where you make especially one I saw in the 401k plan, where the guy made his wife beneficiary. They subsequently divorced. They had a legal agreement upon divorce, splitting assets, and the intent on the 401k plan was the guy was to go back and make his daughter the beneficiary. Never did, and the guy dies, and the beneficiary is the daughter, not the daughter, but the former wife, and the daughter understood she was to receive the assets. And there's a court case referencing the DuPont family where it literally went to the Supreme Court, and the court held that the beneficiary designation superseded any legal agreement between the guy and his wife as a result of their divorce. And, I find that people I don't want to say they get lazy, but they just tend to forget what they've done, and they need to go back periodically and review what they have done. Another example, I had a guy where I was reviewing his beneficiary designations in my office with he and his new wife. And I'm going across the beneficiary designation, and the primary beneficiary was his former wife. And, of course, that was kind of embarrassing for him because he had not changed it, and, of course, his intent was to, and, of course, we solved that problem.
Actually, I'm picturing, I'm I'm actually able to see that situation in your office. And I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah, it was a rather, put this kindly, a static moment.
You know, John, we're talking financial facts with John White from Financial Guideposts in Blue Ridge. We're going to tell you how he's going to tell you in a minute how you can get in touch with him to discuss finances further with him one-on-one. But let me close up here, and so you can do a review of, you know, John, we don't like to say die, and I understand that, but we have to realize it's a discussion you have to have. It just is. It's a discussion you have to have, even though we don't like that. What is a review like? I mean, if they come in and sit down with you, what are you recommending people bring with them? Or tell us a little bit about a financial designation, your benefit designation review that you would do with somebody.
Well, in order to do that, we need to review their actual contract and or any amendments to their plans. Typically, if they have changed the beneficiary in the past, they will have an addendum to their policy that is given to them that is not only a copy to them, but also the insurance company or the 401k or retirement plan. They have that on file. But when they come into my office, I ask them to bring all their important documents, their account statements, and we go through them piece by piece by piece. In my first meeting, I ask a lot of questions, want to understand their circumstances. Then at the second meeting, I review what I have found. I do get into the details. If they can't answer my questions, I have them sign an authorization which permits me to communicate with the company or the plan provider to either confirm or at least certainly confirm what the beneficiary designation is, and if it needs to be changed, we'll obtain the correct documents to have that done. We'll do that for them, and when we're through, they have a much better grasp of what they're doing than they did before they came in.
John, do us a favor. Tell people how they can reach you, get in touch with you to set up an appointment to discuss possibly their beneficiary designations.
Okay, sure. Of course, my office number in Blue Ridge is area 706-946-9190. You can email me as well. It's John, John, at Financial Guidepost, and that's POSTS.com. Again, financialguidepost.com. Or if you're out of the local dialing area, we do have an 800 number, which is 800-334-0734. And the first meeting with me, there's no obligation or cost involved. We'll provide that service and help anyone to resolve any beneficiary issues. And then, of course, we do this to build relationships. And would love to help any of your listeners or your people watching your program this morning.
John, you said 800-334-0734?
That is correct.
Mr. White, I appreciate it. Thank you for being on today, and we look forward to our next Tuesday 8:15 segment. You've been listening and watching Financial Facts with John White from Financial Guidepost in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Again, he can be reached at 800-334-0734 for an appointment today to discuss beneficiary designations. Mr. White, you have a nice day, and we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you.
As you well can hear, Mr. White, I tell you what, now he knows what he's talking about. He really does. You have to, no disrespect to anybody that fills out your paperwork, but you get down to those beneficiary things and you just sign a name in there and go on, and maybe don't realize later on if something does drastically happen. Unfortunately, you are legally bound and don't realize it. You can make an appointment with John from Financial Guidepost in Blue Ridge, Georgia. That's John White. 706-88. No, that's my number. 800-334. Don't call me, because I told you I parallel Donald Trump. I'm broke, real broke. 800-334-0734. Now I could.